Hello, my name is Danielle, and in today's chat, we are going to talk about the chakras and debunk some myths that currently exist about the chakras. Are they evil? Does this compete or challenge my current faith or beliefs? What are they? And so these are some very common questions. Maybe you're totally new to chakras and you're like, I need to know right off the bat if this is something that's for me or for not. Or maybe you've heard about the chakras, but you're still a little unsure about whether or not this is something you want to embrace. So I can totally relate to your hesitation, and I respect your discretion in deciding whether or not this is something that you want to embrace and accept. Especially for people in the Western world. So I was born and raised in the United States. Chakras are totally different. I mean, I never even heard about chakras until I was already an adult. And at that point, it was intimidating because I said, well, I don't know if this challenges my current faith. I don't know if this will complement it. Maybe it'll help me. I've heard some people say that the chakras are very good and healing. So, it was something that I had to decide for myself. So hopefully my goal for this video is for you to spend a little bit of time with me. Allow me to explain to you what chakras are and what they are not. And then hopefully by the end of the video, you can decide if the chakras are something that you want to embrace. I've decided that the chakras just make sense. I mean, it's just a part of my body. It doesn't conflict with any of my faith or beliefs. And it's sort of like, a science. So let's jump right in because we're already getting going. So what the chakras are is a science. What it is not is a religion. Okay, and so let's dive into the science of the chakras. The chakras are an energy system. So the idea that you are a spirit or an energy, those terms can be used interchangeably. And people who are more New Age modern usually say energy, and people who are more spiritual or coming from a religious background will say your spirit. So it's the same thing, that you are a spirit and that you've been put inside of your body. And so I was always curious. I'm like, so we're basically just in here, like this is like the car, right? And I am the driver inside. And so I'm like, okay, so how do I drive the car? What's the rules of the car? Like, I remember when I first started driving, I had to take driver's ed. I had to learn about the car, learn about the rules of the road. My father taught me how to drive stick shift, a whole new set of rules, right? And so is it intimidating to learn something new? Sure, but is it worth knowing about? Do you end up being able to drive a car? Yeah, drive a car well, fast, different types, sure. So that's the analogy that I like to use. That the chakras help you understand how to drive your body, how the relationship between your body, your mind, and your spirit. And so that's another reason why it's not a religion, because it's like we all have bodies, right? And we all can appreciate the science of the other elements of our body. So for example, we have skeletal system, muscular system, we have an endocrine system, we have all these other systems, right? Digestive system that we learn about in science that tells us how our body works, how it functions, how it's put together. But then we've got this body, and then the spirit is over here. And we learn about spirit usually through some form of a religion. And if you're new to my channel, all religions are welcome. Come, let's talk. Because I feel like it's about bringing new and other perspectives that make this so rich. And my clients have all different backgrounds. I love you all so much. So my curiosity led me to the chakras because I said, well, how does the spirit and the body come together? And so I did not know of any Western American information that could tell me like, oh, here's your body system for your spirit. So it brought me to the chakras. So the chakras have been orally passed down as wisdom in India for thousands of years. And it was first discovered in Indian writing about 2,000 years ago. So the question is, okay, so is this just for that culture? And that culture is dominantly Hindu. So is it also just for that religion? Which is a great question, right? But the answer is no, it is for everybody. So if, one culture discovers something, if the French discover something, if the Nigerians discover something, if a culture discovers something and it is a truth, then it is just a truth. And there's been scientists all over the world who have added and contributed to scientific knowledge. And so I see no difference in the chakras being added just because they're added from Indian culture. I see no difference as to why it does not add to our wealth of knowledge. So yeah, so we've got this information about the chakras, and the chakras are 7 points along the spine. So I'm very much so into science and doing the research. So I said, okay, it's along the spine. How is it attached? Right? So then I found out that the chakras are attached to your endocrine system and your nervous system. So your spirit uses your spine and your nervous system and rides the nervous system waves to transmit energy. This is super interesting. It also attaches to your endocrine system and releases hormones to have your body respond to how your spirit is feeling. So I have a little chart here. Forgive me. I'm a busy woman. I'm married. I have kids. I run 3 businesses. So editing my YouTube videos is something that I like to just kind of freestyle. And so I hold up my props instead of editing them in. So please forgive me for that. But I find it useful. It's effective. So let's dive into the science of the chakras. So if you can see this chart, this is your endocrine system, okay? And so your endocrine system has 7 glands, and the chakras have 7 energy centers. Each one is connected, okay? So we're gonna go through each one. So we're gonna start at the bottom with the red and go all the way up to the top at the purple, okay? So the red chakra is called the root chakra. Let me click this. And the root chakra is attached to the adrenals. So this is our adrenaline getting released here, okay? And so this is why, I'll keep showing this to you, but let me just chat for a second. This is why that in your spirit, when you feel fear, your spirit feels fear, and you're going to respond either in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, but your body now has to react to how your spirit's feeling. So now your body's going to say, boost of adrenaline. You're fearful, we need to protect you. The adrenaline's going to come surging through. And so the chakras is about learning, okay, I don't want to just learn about my body and maybe give myself medicine to calm my nerves and give myself exterior forces to try to suppress something that's coming from inside. So with chakra work, it's about working from the inside out. So instead of addressing the adrenaline surge, we address the fear, which is the more spiritual, the root cause. The root cause is what the spirit is feeling. So why is the spirit feeling fear? Through evolution, maybe it was a lion or a tiger or a bear chasing you. But nowadays, it's about just common everyday things like fear of being seen, fear of being abandoned. And so root chakra work is about going into what has been suppressed. So if you think of a root like a tree, like if you think of your body as a tree and your roots is everything underground, it's everything that's subconscious. It's everything that's buried. It's everything that happened in your childhood. It's the core of who you are. It's your foundation. And so when I first came across chakras, what I didn't know, right, was that, oh, this is actually challenging my root chakra. This is challenging the foundation of who I am. Your faith, your religion, your core beliefs are in your roots. So when something came and started challenging it, like, wait a second, I live in a Christian society and now I'm hearing a Hindu philosophy that's making me feel unrooted, and it's causing me fear and making me anxious. Well, man, am I glad that I accepted the chakras as a system, because I don't want to not have that correlation. Like, I don't want to not have that wisdom. At this point in my life, I see everything through the chakras. I see everything through how is this affecting me? And I teach my clients how to evaluate their chakras, to be like, how is the world affecting you in your spirit? All right, let's move on. Number 2, we're moving up to the sacral. This is attached to the gonads. So this is the only energy that splits feminine and masculine energy. Okay, so for men, it'll be testes. For women, it'll be ovaries. Okay, and so for this energy, this is our ability to reproduce. And we learn about the reproduction system in school. And we learn about, how to make babies, what happens in our cycle, what creates the desire. And so that's what's happening in the body. So I'm like, okay, wait, but what's happening in the spirit? In the spiritual aspect, the sacral chakra is about creation, procreating, right? It's about desire. It's about addiction. It's about ecstasy. It's about flow. And so learning that, okay, if I'm having reproductive issues or issues with desire or maybe overactive, like there's so much to dive into, but at least now we have a tool to diagnose what's going on. All right, we're going to speed up a little bit here. All right, the solar plexus, the yellow, correlates to the pancreas. Now we know that the pancreas helps us in our digestion and helps us to control our blood sugar. So in the spirit, what's happening, right? In the spirit, the solar plexus is I do. It is our action. It's our ability to take action. It's our ego. It's our identity. It's like the part of us that's like, this is us. This is me. Not us. I'm sorry. This is me, right? And so when we're digesting in the body, it's relating to the ego. How well can I digest this? How well can I set my ego to the side and accept this? It's like correction would be like the perfect example. If I have to eat correction, you're gonna make me eat it. Okay, I made a mistake, now you're gonna make me eat it. How well am I digesting it? And in the spirit, it's how well can I set my ego to the side and handle this? And that correlates to the pancreas. How well am I digesting my food? Same thing with blood sugar. So the pancreas helps with blood sugar. So if you are boost of sugar, your behavior is going to change. If you're low on sugar, your behavior is going to change. It's going to affect your ability to do. And the solar plexus is all that you are able to do. Okay. Moving up to the green, the heart chakra, okay? So for this one, this is the thymus gland, okay? So the thymus gland creates T cells, the white blood cells in your body that helps with immunity and helps fight off the bad. So this enters the bloodstream, and now we're talking about the circulatory system, right? That covers every part of the body. Well, how does that translate to what's happening in your spirit? Your heart chakra is the largest and strongest chakra of all of them, and they affect everything. And I have other videos on how the heart chakra relates and collaborates with each other chakra. And so this is when someone is heartbroken or low in self-love or overgiving or have closed themselves off, and how this can manifest into an autoimmune disease or low T cells. You can't fight off the way you could if your heart was healthy, open, and protected. And we spend a lot of time on the heart chakra and how that not only affects your health, but it affects your relationships, affects your life. Okay. Let's move up to the higher realms. So light blue is the throat chakra, and that is the thyroid gland. Now this one is like my favorite. I guess they're all my favorite, but I love the throat chakra because the correlation to the body and the spirit just makes so much sense. And I think it's because it was an aha moment for me. But okay, the thyroid gland dictates how quickly you use your energy. So your temperature, it's going to help you regulate your body temperature, hot and cold, right? It's going to regulate your metabolic rate, how fast you're processing energy. It also affects your growth, right? And so because of this, the throat chakra, that thymus gland, is basically monitoring how quickly you use energy. Now on the spiritual side, oh my gosh, the gift of gab, talk, 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 over talking, cursing, slander, gossip, not listening, bulldozing. The throat chakra is the #1 way to burn energy. Like, you want to talk about, hey, I'm inspired by people who just have like that monk energy. Like, they walk into the room and their energy is so dense that they change the dynamic of the room that they're in. Well, one of the things those people usually do is they have control over their mouth. When they speak, they mean every word they speak. They're not just gabbing. If they have a thought, they don't just have the thought come in their brain and out their mouth. They allow the thought to go all the way into their body, to feel it, to do it, to embody it, to become it. So you don't have to ask them, they don't have to say, let's say like, I'm rich. Hey, I'm rich. You can just tell. And it's not even just a financial thing. I'm rich in relationships. I'm rich in self-worth. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they didn't lose the energy by just talking about it. They were being about it, right? And so that's why I love the thyroid, because it regulates how fast you lose or use your energy. And that's the same thing in the spirit. How much energy are you going to lose through this big hole in your mouth? Okay, moving up. Now we're going up to indigo, which is the pituitary gland. Okay, so this is the third eye chakra, or the brow chakra. This one was the most intimidating for me to hear. So we're talking about chakras aren't evil, right? The truth about energy. This one made me scared. This one made me think this is evil. Because when I hear third eye, I'm thinking Illuminati, I'm thinking witchcraft, I'm thinking all kinds of scary stuff. So this one I want to spend a little extra time to clarify that the third eye is just about vision. It's just about perception. My husband has such an open, woke third eye. He just perceives stuff. Like, have you ever met anyone like that, where it's like they just pick up on what is not seen? Like, no one said anything, no, you can't see anything, but you can just tell. And that's one of the areas that I'm like, ooh, I want mine to be stronger, right? I want to be able to perceive. I want stronger intuition, right? I want a bigger imagination. I want to take away any limitations about what I can have and who I can be. That's the third eye. And so I think it was the scariest because it was the most powerful. And when you look at the endocrine system, you see that the pituitary gland is considered and also nicknamed the master gland. It dictates your growth and distribution of hormones to the other glands, specifically the thyroid in the throat, the sacral, the ovaries, the reproductive hormones, and the root, the adrenaline hormone. And so if this one is the master gland, we need to spend some time to wake this up, okay? And then we're going to move to the last one, the crown chakra. And this one correlates to the pineal gland. The pineal gland in the brain governs your circadian rhythms. It lets you know when it is time to sleep, when it is time to wake. It also gives you seasonal physiology. so that you know what time of year it is. So a lot of it is like knowing what time it is, right? And, um, you know, in the physical realm, we know what time it is. Like, oh, okay, it's winter, I better do accordingly. Oh, okay, it's nighttime, I better do accordingly. And it's that leadership of knowing what to do at what time. And in the spiritual realm, the crown chakra is about wisdom and knowing what to do when. Learning from your mistakes, taking spiritual guidance in, okay? And so I hope this clarifies for you that the chakras are a science, but let's also debunk some of these myths of what the chakras are not. So I said that the chakras are not a religion. Here's the two main myths that I hear, and I just want to debunk them real quick. The first is chakras are against my religion, aka it's based in Hinduism, so I can't practice it. And I hope that after you've seen the science of this and after you've seen the way that you learn how to have a mind-body connection, that this is science. It is in every single person's body. It's like saying that the car needs an oil change and the car has a gas tank. Like, your body has this. Like, you have the ability to perceive whether or not you want to admit it's a third eye chakra. You have the ability to the desire to stay safe, whether or not you want to accept that you have a root chakra, right? So it's not a religion. In fact, through my own personal development, this has gotten me in more of a search for God. And my clients say the same thing. In fact, after I do a chakra yoga class, or I bring in clients for private sessions specifically just to work on their chakras and their energy, we always end up talking about God. We always end up diving deeper into spirituality, because once you realize you have a spiritual vehicle, it's going to make you want to say, well, what spirit, what God am I worshiping? And that's where I take my hands off the wheel, right? And I would encourage anyone, when you're talking about chakras and it starts turning spiritual or religious, that's where you take your hands off the wheel, because it has to be personal. So my personal faith is Christianity. Even with studying chakras, it's like, okay, I'm going to need my root chakra, so I'm going to have to decide what my faith is. I'm going to need my crown chakra, so I'm going to need to know what energy source, what God I'm connecting to. And so it's going to have to flow through me, right? And so I'm going to have to choose who that is. So is chakras a religion? No, it's how you embody whatever religion you're going to pick. Maybe you pick no religion. Maybe you are your own God. Maybe you're a Buddhist. Maybe you're a Muslim. Like, honestly, that's just going to be a personal decision. And I get a lot of slack about this. And for a while, it affected me. It no longer does, because I'm like, opinions are cheap and everybody has one. Because I'm learning more and more every day how personal this stuff is, why would anyone's opinion matter? But at a certain point, it did matter to me, and it affected me, because I said, I don't want to be judged. I don't want people to think that just because I learn about chakras and teach chakras, that I'm not spiritual or I'm not religious. And it's like, I have found that the people who have been most judgmental of me have been the ones that are the most religious. And even Jesus dealt with that, with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, that they were so into their dogma and their rituals that they forgot to have a personal relationship. And so I believe with my whole heart that if you continue to study the chakras with me, that you will be more drawn to God, more clear about what you believe, if you have a God or who that is. Whatever you're going to harness is what you're going to choose to harness. I mean, at that point, you got to kind of put it in God's hands, right? The second myth that I get, so the first is it's against my religion. The second is that invites dark spirits. That's witchcraft. Chakras are witchcrafts. Um, and this to me just sounds like the Salem witch trials. If you're not in the United States, there was like a very famous witch hunt that happened in Massachusetts, a state here, where if a woman had any sort of thing they did wrong, even if they did nothing wrong, they were accused of being a witch and burned at the stake. So very mob-like mentality. If you feel like chakras are gonna, being aware of your own chakras is gonna invite something evil or brings out something evil, then it was already there. That's my experience, is that you already had negative thoughts. You already had, you know, evil influence, evil desire, evil, it had to, you had to have been attracting it somehow, and or allowing it somehow. And wouldn't it be better to acknowledge that, right? Address it, be aware of it so you can fix it, right? Like it's better than ignorance, right? It's better than not knowing what's going on inside of you. To me, it just kind of seems silly that that this form of inner work and getting to know yourself would be considered witchcraft. So those are the two things I want to debunk, and we'll just end with spirituality versus dogma. So I encourage personal development, personal growth. I was in my religion, of course, I believe in God, I trust God, and I grow deeper in that as well. But there is something about making it personal, personalizing it to yourself, taking away judgments of yourself, that helps you not judge others, that helps you become more dense in your own energy, right? Like sometimes I refer to like the chakras and someone who's like kind of messy, right? As their energy is just spilling all over the place, like a cup that has a bunch of holes in it, and every time water is poured in, it's just making a mess and a blob. And spiritually, I feel like that's what happens too. Like when you're not aware of your energy, it's so easy to spill on other people, right? Like people who have an imbalance in their sacral, their sexual energy, will go around and just spill this sexual immorality on other people, will or if they have a throat chakra imbalance, will just dump and complain on people. And the problem is always on the outside. The problem is always someone else. The solution is always also with someone else, and we need them to come fix us. And so I just don't believe that. I kind of have inverted that. The issues inside and the solutions inside. And understanding how that inside is framed helps us do better scanning and diagnosing of what's happening. Multiple times a day, I will scan through my chakras and say, does this feel open and clear? Okay, good, move up. Does this one feel open and clear? Okay, move up. Does this one feel open and clear? Okay, move up. Does this one feel open and clear? Okay, move up. And it's such a quick, and doing it over and over, I can do it so quickly now. I can go and diagnose where the problem is. Solar plexus, oh, I'm having a confidence issue, right? And so not only are you able to diagnose, but through my courses and through my videos, how to heal, how to get it into alignment, how to shorten the time span of the imbalance, right? Like aware, fix, okay, move on. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, fix it, deep breath. Okay, move on. Instead of being stuck like that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm stressed out and anxious. Okay, well, how long do you want to stay like that, right? So thank you. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I would love to invite you to do a few things. One is to like this video, share it with someone else who you think might be, scared or intimidated and needs sort of a better explanation of the chakras. That supports my content and supports me. You're welcome to watch all the videos I have on here for free. I hope they help you, bless you. I hope that you grow. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper and say, you know what, this is powerful and I'm ready to do the work, I've linked in the bio some journals that I've created. These have been customized. These are journal prompts. It is tips and suggestions on how to heal the energy. It is motivation. And so I highly recommend it. They're available on Amazon. Click on the link. It's very reasonably priced, and you'll able to actually do the work and analyze your chakra. There's a quiz in there to notice, for you to evaluate how is your chakra properly functioning right now. And then if you want to go even deeper, I invite you into my courses. So it's not just about awareness, it's about doing the work. So often we ingest the information and it doesn't go anywhere. Information is free. You could Google chakras, right? The benefit of being with me and with my program and with my students and with this community is that we digest it and then it goes into us. It becomes a part of us. And so for the students who have joined me in the courses, I love you. I thank you. We just finished a chakra series. We were all meeting downtown and that was so beautiful. I loved you. And I thank you so much. It was powerful, and I love the testimonies you've shared as well. Okay, sorry about the background noise. My neighbor is doing some spring cleaning. He is the best neighbor ever. He's like always on top of making the yard look good. So I'll end the video there. I love you. God bless. Please comment what your thoughts were, where your blocks were. Did you have hesitations? Did you have believe that they were evil and the myths about the chakras? So let's have a conversation in the comments. I'll see you later. God bless and namaste.